Ooh, okay, so hello guys, it's me Gaming Star here, and today I am back with another episode of The Great Ace Attorney to Resolve. Last time, we had basically finished up the Great Departed, the adventure, the Great Departed Soul, and yeah, we finished the trial, and we found out that Kazuma was still alive. So yeah, this time I'm gonna go ahead and do technically the final case again. Episode 4 and 5 are the same case, but it's just so long. It's so long, it's split into two. So get ready for a crap ton of episodes. So part one, this is gonna be investigations. So get ready, and let's begin. Twisted Kotama in his last battle.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder, an executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
Eight days after the earth-shattering trial and Kazuma regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Here we go. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. I forgot to take out the costumes. Whatever, fuck it, we'll keep it. Yes, I'm glad we got here in time. I'll take it off though during later. I forgot about that. Oops. Since I thought the sun hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. I seriously forgot about the costumes. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew that he was actually the mass murderer? The professor? You mean? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here at London together 16 years ago. Didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows then about Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory now. Ah, there she is. Oh, hi. Oh, father. Hello, Susato. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you arrived safe and sound. That's a big-ass luggage. Chigoku, tell me, why do you have that big-ass luggage? Isn't that a bit much? Listen, I know you're staying for... Isn't that a little bit, you know, much? I'm just saying, you know, I wouldn't carry a luggage that big. Listen, I traveled, and I wouldn't take a luggage that fucking big. Okay, that's just way too excessive. Oh, Mr. Nadahoda, very kind of you to take trouble who is here. Oh, no, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London. You know, the news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Thank you very much. Who is this man, and why do I feel as though I've seen him before? He's the judge in Japan. I'm taking it from your expression that you can't place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Shishido? A firm tap should do it. Yes, a firm tap. What? Here we go, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryosuke Nadahodo, guilty! Ah. Oh! You're the judge? Hi. I should have taken out the alphabet, I forgot about it. The court will now hear the trial of Yosuke Naruhodo. Your Excellency! Hello, Judge Shikoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Good, you remember now. That really did the trick. Guilty! Oh, I was declared not guilty. Wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Shishido? What are you talking about, Jujin? Of course, Judge Shikoku. You must complete the set. He's the other man who's to learn of Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar. Well, all the passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a long time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? That's kind of strange. Anyone, even a minister, should go through that. That's very suspicious. Huh, I knew you were jealous. Sorry, ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Shishido here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. His personal instances that allow you to take Kazuma's place here in the study tour. Guilty as charged! Bro, I was not guilty. Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. I mean, look at that face. Oh, yes, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in the trial you were involved with 8 days ago. Oh, yes. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. Yes, could you tell us more about it? Your journey for Japan. How'd it go? So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea, long time by anyone's standards. True. But it wasn't as bad when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. But I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting to vast ocean for the rest of our lives. That time we followed the same route as you, we were able to relax and enjoy the experience. Ah, you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris? We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening, we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's thanks to Shishido here. 16 years ago, the man of Inigiri had helped Britain's Attorney General, Lord Strongheart. I'm sure that's why he invited, and I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendix by default. Speak for yourself, Eugene. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at Major Hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Kazuma's father, I suppose. Kazuma's father. The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Osogi. Genshin? Mighty! Oh my god. You knew, I presume, father. Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. Oh, I never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. I don't believe that at all. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth. And he was executed with little Adam. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in their homeland. Mighty! Oh, what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. But then how did he... However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Yeah, of course. I mean... Oh, why? Mario! As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up, as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? I think that was his reason. I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know. I didn't know that there was no way I'm able to stop him. I had a feeling. Something else came to light at the trial the other day, actually. Oh. What? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year. Mario, shut the fuck up! Kazuma has since turned up here in London and working as the apprentice Lord Van Zeeks. What? What? That's news to us. So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. Kazuma's reappearance. We'll see how this goes. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father? In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to discern what happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive and here in London, you say? I never dared even dream of it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia. What? Amnesia? When we first came across him here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. I wonder how Cosmo's been these past few days. Would it be strong of us to go visit him? Your time in Britain. That began 16 years ago now. It's distant memory, really. It was Jujin here, Genshin Usogi, and myself. We were the original 3. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they were today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yuma University at the time, you know, young lady. Yes, grandmother told me. He went to do research at the Great London Hospital to study autopsy. Practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of the prison and the burial ground. You never talk to graves. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. I mean... So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Do you remember the Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was. He was a good man. Yes, but then of course, in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing. I tried to speak for his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say, after the trial, we were sent back to Japan. There is nothing more that we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. Well, that sucks. Well, if you excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up those rooms as soon as possible. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have held you up there for so long. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here. That's a big-ass luggage. Suzuto-san's gone off a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It's a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Naruhodo. I hope you'll keep an eye on Suzuto for me. Been looking after his exhibit. Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Suzuto was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh, yeah, Suzuto-san hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable on the benefits as a grown man, and it was then Shishido offered me an opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you leaving behind, so perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me in London. So that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughters as precious as I dare. Though the world didn't readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. One other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm so sorry it took so long. Mr. Sato, Baden, allow us to take your bags. Is this one of the jurors from, like, that one case? Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir. The machine around your neck is a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph of the commemorate a wonderful day stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think giving you a kitchen was justified expense. Ah, yes, of course. Look at how nervous Naruhodo is. Look how nervous Inosuke is. Like, shit. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then, but we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotomo was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect that you will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. I seriously forgot to tell you about something I wanted to do. I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazumada. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask him. So, we'll see where we can go next. I guess we could go over to Strongheart and see if he's available. I'm not sure if he's available yet, but we're gonna try. Oh, there he is. Here's the final draft of opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. Supplemental the original with the figures you've asked me for the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zeek's doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension here, wouldn't you say? This place is stifling enough as it is. I really don't need more tension. Oh, hi. My apologies, I didn't notice you come. Your small stature and dark dress make you but invisible to me. Oh, no, it's entirely my fault wearing black, I'm sure. From now on, you must dress in white from head to whatever you came across. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I'm right here. Kill me now! Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room with such perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat curving their way down your face into sort of otherwise. Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London early today, I hear, madam. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. I'd leave the remaining preparations to the meeting room in capable hands then, Lord Van Zeeks. I will attend at once. He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand for many years has recently pulled out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still out of service? Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe. Ah, of course. Terribly sorry about that. I was just, you know. Fear not. You've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing perpetuated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if I weren't for the priestly stare you're giving me right now. Lord Van Zeeks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh! Missing? What's become of Kazuma-sama now? Forensic Science Symposium. I have to go on, bro. Not too long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? As comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population in Imperial Capital Tokyo is 2 million. I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. The events have been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparation and negotiations with other countries. Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations. The 20th century will be the wholesale adaptation of forensic investigation techniques, and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why the landmark first seems to be had hosted here in the heart of our great British Empire, in order Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. The passion is quite something. You're every bit of passionate in your own way. I'm sure, Mr. Nuthuddle. I'm the only person in the country who truly cares about the future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General to reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. I'm not too sure. I first established a forensic investigation team a year ago now, experimentally, to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily occurring the impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name to validate the status of full-blown forensic investigation department. And obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep the story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. I'm sorry! This incident will set back our country's advancements in the field by good 10 years, I'd say. Unintended repercussions of our trial! I'm sorry! I simply couldn't overlook what had happened now. That's true. I'm sorry. Jeez. Of course not. We shouldn't be grateful to you both. Sorry. Anyway, the story reform this country's policing when I became Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. You're very ambitious. Aren't you now? About Lord Van Zieks' apprentice. Ah, yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zieks in the first place? I think you knew. He came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. Oh, they found him in hiding over a large goods vessel. What? Oh my! Huh? So he stowed away to get here? He had no papers to identify him, no passport. Oh, that makes sense. And he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact that he was clearly Eastern descent, there were no clues to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zieks, the way I could keep an eye on him. But then, why the mask? It's kind of odd. I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zieks with tiresome explanations to why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because there would be so much to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proven to be a great help to Lord Van Zieks. I have high hopes for him in the future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? Cosmo, by any chance? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. What? Oh. I take it you also didn't know. No, not at all. That's the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Genshin Asogi. Kazuma's father's crimes. Let's talk about that. So when we learned from the trial 8 days ago, it was a huge shock finding out my friend's father was... Oh yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. They were such an awful murders, and then presented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and it can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. Only the government officials. Their motivation was to avoid abrogating relations between our two nations in the time, I understand. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of mass murder? I mean, communist, anybody? The majority of the man's victims were in blight on the shit of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so fair few thinkers of London believe anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? I mean, that's true. Murder is murder, but like, regardless. Seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey? It is. Holy shit. Well, it very, very similar, actually. It is, actually. Holy shit, dude. So, let's leave right now, because, we're gonna go over back to Sholm's suite. We at least talked to him for a bit, so that's good. We'll come back here again later. So for right now, let's go back here. We just talked. What was that? A man screaming in the most unflattering way. Do you think? Could it have been Mr. Schultz? Oh my, I do hope not. You don't do it anymore! Mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display, eh? Who are these people? Look at their hair. It's bright red. Gingers. No, not gingers. I think they must be clients of Mr. Schultz. Right, you two. You're coming with me now. Down to the clink. No, not the prison. It's dark in the top and I don't like it. Boff, the darkness, my friend. I'm not scared. You're scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. It's quite the dark in the planet like staring me. I don't like this. I don't like it. Right, off. We finish this down to the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective. Sheena makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie, and Bruno. Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I can see my daddy again soon. Ah, yes, of course. Dr. George will soon. So it is. All that remains now is the greatest problem known to man. Before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order. Don't you, my dear fellows? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? Do you have a crumble with such lick on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say. It's bright red. Come along then, everyone. I brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today, I don't even know. In that case, let us sit and drink now. Wait, what's the mask doing there? Am I expecting the guests later today? What's the mask? Is that mask very familiar? Hold on. Let me see this. What's this doing here? It's kind of odd. Isn't that the same mask? That mask Cosmo wore when he was Lord Van Zieg's apprentice. I was at the Cast Society trial the other day. Just sort of picked it up. Oh, that makes sense. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me to coldly wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? Isn't he your best friend? Well, if you guys want to see the final one of the Herlachian, even though we already did the achievement, so let's just check it at least. This blackboard's 80 scribbles, you guys will see. Oh, seems a lot of stick fingers are aligned along. Look. Cheap apples at the market, that's what they say. What? Little figures can speak? These questions will be answered if only you would read this month's Rand's magazine. So I'm the one that makes sense of this. So that's the mask. That's where the mask went. Hold on, let me see the newspaper article. Looks like it's last week's edition. What's the art circle? Red ink. So the advertisement column, it says to Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League. What's that? I don't know. Never heard it before, but I think it has to do with this. There's something on my face. Clearly, this has something to do with that lively hair. The Red-Headed League article. So we're gonna check that out. So that's where the mask is. So let's go ahead and talk. Hi. Your two visitors. Who were they? They were red-headed. Mario. Mr. Sholmes, who were those two gentlemen that were here before? One Italian, one French, from the looks of it. Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to matter of infractions. When the mood takes you, all manner of infractions? Mario, come here. But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Come here, Mario. Kuka, how the hell? That's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you are a target of crime, Mr. Sholmes? But I could devise a plan to entrap them and deliver them to the young detective ally. You should have asked Greg to come, too. We would have had an arresting tea party. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. Odd. The man is monsieur, but the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Uh-huh, I have it. A bungler. That's the word. A good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those red heads have been up to no good. I wonder what the men did. The greatest problem. What is it about? What was that? The greatest problems unknown to man you mentioned before? Is it another fiendish inquiry case, Mr. Schultz? How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, Prehens? Yes! Well, I think I've heard talk about it somewhere. Possibly. Well, I'm familiar. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. For us, it's like over 100, 200. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in treetops. Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed, and from the very moment those apes ascended to the canopy to live as humans, it has been a lot of mercy, the greatest problem known to man. What is that? Are a lot? What is the great problem, Mr. Schultz? Why is not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent! Wow. But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tussbells only the other day? Psh, a large sum. Once potted Herb Zeddy's new motor car for me later, all is quite disappeared, I assure you. Honestly, Hurley, you know how squandered it. Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer of man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. And what was that answer? To be exact, why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes. The fucking hair. Don't tell me, let me see. Humans are sorry creatures to be able to see what is right under their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe very closely. It's a very particular feature about my person has changed, you know, to the end I stay. In the end, the hair and eyebrows. It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. I think we might need another clue before we can uncover full answer, Miss Bernardo. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on for much longer. The lie you told. Mr. Schultz, isn't it a time to tell us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us, I will now tell you something, but the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. The case of Bordes Buria in January. Kazuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. What? Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them to the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material in which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why do it in the first place? It will be a liberty to due course. Elaborate to due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His appearance in Hong Kong. Oh. I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes? Let's present the article, shall we? So we have the Red-Headed League, an account to bequest on the bequest of the late Asika Hopkins of Lincoln, PA, Pennsylvania, USA. There is another vacancy open which entitles a member of the league to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services. All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind and above the age of 21 years are eligible. Apply in person the morning of the 31st in Large Park at Lime Street. Get £4 per week if you are red-headed. Most fantastic money-making opportunity. The Red-Headed League. Yeah, the public report. What's that about? The public health. I like how you can actually read the other ones on the side, which is a really cool detail. It looks as though something circled an advertisement in the papers, Mr. Schultz. To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? But the first instance in quite indispensable observation. It's so obvious! Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? Alright, Red-Headed League, what's this about, bro? So what's this Red-Headed League, which seems to be subject to the advertisement you've circled? You've noticed it in the paper, then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisements, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows uplifted by governments. In fact, the only condition of becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. Listen to what lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week? But why? Why are you paying people for? Why are they paying people for that? I don't know. No details are given to the advertisement. It's kind of odd. But surely every red-headed person in this country will be flocking to join the case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. Put in the application at once. So will I. Just one chance. That might be a stretching point, I think. Bro. The trouble is, they have fixed the number of members, you see. Oh, I see. So once our member of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Schultz. But who was that person? So you decided to try to join his place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No? So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo. Though it pains me to admit. Oh, your blunder. What's this about? What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Mr. Tinko. What I top of my head is neither dye nor a hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry! I was conducting some research into the method of rejuvenating spentine leaves, and in the course of my work I stumbled upon a potion which turns one's hair from flame like red. Would you like to try it? Ew, with every hair on your body perfectly crimson, including your eyebrows. I think I'll pass. Every hair? Every hair in the body? You mean in my legs? Even my legs will be red? Is that what you mean? But and also the I don't want to talk about it. But Mr. Sean, it's quite safe to drink. Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Amateurs are always hampered with such fears. Oh, I should never doubt you, Mr. Schultz. You mean to say? A man, of course. Tearing £4 per week if I was prepared. Tearing blind night's a little danger. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely. Mario! Why are you crying? Come here! So anyway, I really left the full confidence yesterday since ruining your head. Right here. For the park on Lime Street where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members. So it went wrong. The whole park was chocked with red-headed folk like a Coaster's orange barrel. I queued for 8 hours solid before I managed to reach the front, but when the panel interviewer saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" Wow, that was quick. So naturally I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which I could do a little splatoon. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation started within me. So I turned that pair to the police. Oh dear, what a disaster. For Hurley and those two redheads. Aha! Here's my guest now! My next client! Will money spend? Oh, I do have an exciting case, Hurley. Remember, it is you are present to grip to the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept the case no matter how unstimulating or save a location in front of me, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you? Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can't like a little tact, especially just for minutes too. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, please, oh please! Please help my husband, he's run away! To upset me. I beg your pardon. Never mind. A personal matter? My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo? I didn't say a word! Come, my dear madam. Be seated. It is some tea, if you please. Of course. What's the matter, Mrs. Sato? Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. We've seen her before. I feel as I've seen her somewhere before very recently. Yeah, she was one of the jurors. Yes, now that you come to mention it. She was one of the jurors. As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. I'm employed to take the case, sir. Money's no object, simply name your figure. Money I will for a little consequence to me, madam. Being offered a case of some reward enough. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are a picture of benevolence. I will, of course, mantle the offer, however, for cogent reasons. I trust you remember the words also. If I might inquire, sir. The hair. This gentleman and lady would be... Oh, me. What I'm about to tell you would like to communicate strictly confidence, you understand. Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, if say this pair knew what you would say to me. Ah, I see. I can vouch for a gentleman personally, after all. He's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Bro! Alright, Mrs. Vigil. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh my! Psh, my dear fellow, what are your intentions? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady for tea, you must do it in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial attended last week? Ah, I knew I recognized her. She was one of the jurors. That's what I said. Yeah, she was juror number 2. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, sister, my spine. Yeah, it was you. I didn't quite recognize her because she was acting so different, you know. It must be very difficult to use a lawyer. Being hard of hearing, I mean. Pardon? Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear me. It was clearly nothing more. Now look what you started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much! I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Mr. Vigil, your husband. Tell us about your husband, madam. Mr. Vigil, my daily, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here. An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. How long have you been married? It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship. My husband's income is more than adequate. We live quite comfortably. As it would appear. I need you to look at this. Thanks. Oh gosh. Your dress is still a style, your hair clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as why your husband might disappear, correct? That's right. He's a kind man, a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident already. Oh, that is exactly what I feared to happen, Mr. Sholmes. Quite beside myself with worry. Most of his employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What? Does he incur some miscreant's ill will? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison. A guard? That's just somewhat unusual. Prison warden. Hey, you! Mario! Shut up! So your husband's a prison warder. That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, the chief warder. Indeed, I see. Well, a chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must have prepared this dreadful punishment to see if it's carried out. Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments? And at such times, he occasionally spent a night or two in a prison dormitory. But for the extra responsibility, he remunerated more handsomely than other warders. Of course, he makes no mention of my husband works with neighbors. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, was the prison your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really? Barclay? Oh, fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it? Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery. No! Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing horror. That's unbelievable! Unbelievable, my dear fellow. And yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Sholmes. I'm afraid you lost me. Ah, pay no mind, madam. Pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? Your husband's disappearance. So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance, when did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday. I'm sorry? Yesterday? It really is recent. Laughably so. The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away at his work. It's not all the ordinary for him to return home at night, but this is different. For him, not making any contact the whole day has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever happened? My dear Mrs. Vigil, please calm yourself. Nodding, have you contacted the police? Why, naturally! But sadly, they refused to listen to my pleas, and my husband has only been missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home. It's honestly really stupid how they do that. In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to my man another month and I'll bear my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on her Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it. You really have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. You seek only to put this sweet rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it! Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have information I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please report to me as a good news, sir. Fear not, madam. In a day or two, she'll be contacting you with the heartening report, I'm quite sure. So soon! Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes. Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. The photograph of Mr. Vigil has been entered into the court records. It's going to be important. Thank you. Now, allow me to show you to the door. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous. You know, I think every time, Hurley. But how do you come up with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two. Are you sure? Can't be sure, of course, but then why would I do it? I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to good news, you might say. After all, the rent's must be paid at the end of the day tomorrow. By the time I successfully locate Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Nadahodo? Don't look at me with those pleading eyes! Well, my dear fellow, will you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing's surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. What did you make of all of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked, at Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you're not new to that. Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery. Lowgate Cemetery is the rear Barclay Prison, so it was renowned among the students at the university to be haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. Convicts, whatever. Barclay Prison is where the notorious man was incarcerated, the professor. And now I've wondered why they call the professor, though, for the prisoner mysteriously appeared with seeing. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Nadahodo. Sorry? Run along with the prison and see what you could glean. Would you? Or the prison governor you want to know that is a good way. But aren't you going with yourself? Surely you need to ask. I can't possibly go and sing with his hair! Did you go to life with that hair? That was quite a different matter. So leave your capable hands. Now, if you excuse me, I'm rather busy. Of course you are. Here we go. Mario! Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing into a lonely burial ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having a requested meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. What I really like is how you can actually see how like the clock, the grandfather clock is just like has like a guillotine. That is amazing. Oh hi! This place is full of hardened criminals. I cannot remember the last time a civilian was down here. Hi! And you didn't want to talk to me, inmate, but to me. I can discard access, so forgive me, please. Do you care who I am? I'm Governor Barry Caden. Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryosuke Nadahodo, defense lawyer. An Easterner, I see. Does that mean? Yes, I'm visiting student of law of the Empire of Japan. Japan! Did you say Japan? Yes. Well, there isn't any kind of it here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door. I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, we came to ask you. I didn't like to be so direct, but I have no intention of speaking with the likes of you suspicious looking Easterners. Okay, we're out of here. Now get out of my hair. So as soon as he finds out we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means, yeah, the professor. I think it's because of the professor case. I think so too. 10 years ago, Genshin Isogi, also as a professor, was incarcerated in his prison, and then after his execution, he was apparently re-emerged from his grave 7 years in prison. I might have known. You're sniffing around the boot the case, aren't you? You're agents, eh? Part of the professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just get going with you before I punch you in the lights out. We're going. Clearly, the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not gonna get anywhere here unless we can do some prove this man is if he's suspicious about us. Governor Caden. Very thank you, Mrs. Sato. I feel sure his name came up in conversation with me recently. I was wondering if I mentioned he might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I had the same feeling. So, let's go back to the Waterloo Hotel. Shall we? Hi. Oh, Professor Mikotoba over there. Hi, Mario. Hello, you two. I was just take a moment to catch up on the world not everyone packed. So is the Judge Chigoku. Yes, he's not a relaxing sort. He's taken himself to pay respects to all legal bigwigs. He's finally arrived in the court country today? Goodness, he is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before. About how you know the prisoner governor of Barclay Prison? Oh, Governor Caden, you mean. So it is the same man. Father, we must speak to the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure our company would have a very different story. Oh, would you? It would be wonderful to have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee in a comfortable seat. No, I'll have a lot of prepared tomorrow, you know. Oh, so sorry. Did I say that louder, did I? You Mikotomas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or could it be that you Nadahodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts? Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. What's he writing on the piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when we see his name, he'll change his tune. Ah, thank you! The letter of introduction, so keep this in mind. Good luck then. Thank you. Now let's go back. Here we go. I have something that I think you would like. If you just catch your eyes on the Governor Caden. What's this then? You cannot pull the wool over my eyes, you good for nothing Japanese student! Mikotoba. Let me do deeper voice first. That the young jock from the forensics laboratory, that Mikotoba. Yes, exactly! Him! I can't do deep voice because it's not. I can do it, but it's like it hurts my throat, so I'm trying not to do it too much. Oh, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yuji Mikotoba's daughter, Susato. Jeez! You're the young man's daughter? And you didn't think to mention that before? I do apologize. Hey, well, you're the best. You take a seat then. You can offer you a cup of tea, perhaps. Oh, Gina, but get the tiniest we have got biscuit. Look at those tiny little biscuits. I love that. I love how he has a tiny ass biscuit that's shaped like handcuffs. That is so adorable. That is so adorable. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting that when I say who is now. So then, what can I do for the end? Well, we're currently investigating a case. It was one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing. Missing? That's right, surely we reported you as well, Prison Governor. I am now the other sort. There are no missing persons in my prison. Oh? But how can that be? Is Mr. Daily Vigil your chief warder? Eh? Vigil? That's right, his wife came to us and asked us to investigate his appearance. Let's skip the part of him going missing yesterday. Clearly that means something to him. If you're so kind to tell us who you know, sir. Hey, go ahead. Chief Warder Vigil. We understand that Mr. Vigil's a chief warder here at the prison. Hey, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job. No doubt about it. He was a fine warder. Yeah. Sorry, did you say was? Hey, he doesn't work here no more. He left the job. Yeah. Oh my. So he doesn't work there anymore. When was this exactly? That is a question. When it was about, that could not have been much less than 10 years ago now. What? So he doesn't work there anymore. 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Doesn't mind this. Do you know again? I haven't heard of the fella's name in all that time. That's where he gone missing. That's what I But Mrs. Vigil had made no mention of it. Oh, let me pull it. Let me fix your diaper. Thank you. There we go. It's more fixed. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware he no longer works here. For 10 years. Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't help wondering, given it was 10 years ago. Which was the exact professor was being held at the prison. 10 years ago. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of chief warden 10 years ago, you're telling us? What happened to make him leave the job? In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry, a walk? Hey, that's all the word in here. Walk to the gallows. Ah, an execution. The job of the chief warden to prepare the gallows to oversee any executions, you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning. Mario! Boy, shut the... Boy! What did he do? I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal that information. But I can tell you that it's very, very rare for the chief warden to be relieved of his post. But why would Mrs. Vigil know? Why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't get know about that, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances to dismissal? And what would that be in? That last execution of Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professors? My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am. I'm not at liberty to answer that. I see. Professor Mikotoba. My father came to Brain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted. The Red Room, the prison, the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensics research, don't they again? Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly plannable. Your father worked in the laboratory just so far outside of the graveyard. In the basement of St. Sinners. Still in use today. St. Sinners? That's a come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there. Mikotoba and I have to start a lot together to negotiate terms. For fresh material, I suppose. Hey, and we used to sit here for hours and gab on the booties in section all sort of, so it takes me back. Or potted a plate of cup biscuits! I love the cup biscuits, they're so adorable! Okay, honestly, those are so adorable. Like, I would have little mini cup cookies. Like, if someone make those, I would eat them, alright? If they're a good flavor, that is. I would eat that shit, dude. It's so cute. How charming. So adorable, the little biscuits. He was a good fella, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid... I never understand your Japanese. Because of Genshin Sogi, I suppose. Well... I cannot tell you anything else. Thanks so much for your time, Governor. Oh, one moment before you're away, and... What are you? I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this wee souvenir of your visit to the prison. It's a little souvenir. I was like, no souvenirs. That's because the dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? Oh wow, thank you. Hey, it's no trouble at all. No, it's an original, man. Vigil's dismissal. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Hey, in return. Do me a favor and never come back here. The case is closed. We're gonna need you for later, though. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We report back to Mr. Schultz, found information by Mr. Beagle. Although Ms. Thomas Beagle, it's gonna be hard to tell her. Hold on. Let me go ahead and check something. Okay, hold on. So let's check the back of it. And here's something you notice. It's the ticket. Oh, looks like some sort of steamship ticket. The S says Groose. Groose! I'm sorry. First cabin 1. Yokohama departure, 11th September. London arrival, November. Ah, that's the boat Professor Mikoto and Judge Chikoki from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it's called Dunkirk in the north coast of France before it finally arrived in Dover. I think almost a year now since we arrived in Dover. This is booty ass. Shame that'll take us in the mental your trip, do you think? Yes, I agree. It's like my diary. Keep them all safe. Oh, how strange you could have gone. I like this Mr. Hello. Did I imagine it, or is it a common company? A little sigh. So keep that in mind. Do that real quick. And let's go. Back to Schultz Suite. We're back. Hello, you two. I thought you'd be back before long. I baked some scones for you. That's all. Ah, so that's delicious. Greetings with your blue hair, bro. You returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Say nothing. Your fats are written all over your faces in any case. Turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration, tunic before application. Oh my! Pray tell me, what's of our awarded friend? Have you gained any information? Oh, yes, actually. Something very surprising, in fact. Those in the patch of your hair, to be honest. It most certainly is. But still, we have the Sholmes! Drop everything, Sholmes! This is more important than Gina. Oh, no. I can't have any. What's wrong? Oh, God. What's happened? Clearly a very grave matter indeed. From Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. God damn it! That's not the time for your fucking hair. It's the boss. It's the boss. What do you mean? Inspector Gregson? Oh no. Gregsy! The boss he's dead! What? Gregson! No! My boy! They just found his body. Shot with a pistol. What? But Inspector Gregson? He was murdered? Yep, that's our murder victim. Gregson. No, not Gregsy. Oh, Gregson! Okay, my dear girl, tell us the whole story. Oh, God. Gregson, no! Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was... He was really shot? I don't know much about what happened myself yet. It is their lay. Investigating the scene. Where did this take place? A little rent room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street. The outskirts of town. Nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then. The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. It was his own secret case. Oh, how strange. Hey, Mario! Hey, boy! The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him I'd become a proper detective. Oh, Ginny. Aww. Especially remembering what he said, how he wanted to take her to France with him. The pain! God damn it, you're gonna kill me. So who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is? I got them already. Already? They've caught the shooter so soon? A witness reported that something was going on, and the boys got straight down and took care of them. Whose awful person did this? I still can't believe it myself. Gina? It was the Reaper. Wait a minute! You don't mean they arrested Lord Van Zieks for it? Listen, hey, the name of the bloke's gone and shot the boss. No, Lord Van Zieks? I don't believe him to do it. Listen, he may look like a literal demigod of death, but he ain't no way gonna kill someone like that. That's for sure. Are you quite sure, Mrs. Trade, if this Brock Von Zieks the police had arrested? I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses. They all saying it was him. So you mean there were actually multiple oh no. Yeah, we're fucked, boys. But not really. They heard the gunshot apparently. And when our law got to the scene, there was only the boss and the Reaper bloke in the room. But there's no way Lord Van Zieks would have taken Gregson's life. I mean, if you remember all the connections with Gregson and Van Zieks, they were, you know, they had a, you know, kind of working relationship. I just don't believe it. Me neither. I don't believe it either. I don't believe it. I don't. Under fact, I don't. Oh, dude. Thank you for informing us, Mrs. Trade. It really is the most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing! Anyway. I'm taking a cab over to see you, right? Please come now, as soon as you can. You've got the help. It's a detective's law to appear whenever some sinister plot is unfolded. Little wonder we all look hairy. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes. What use is there being a detective if fails to see something like this is coming, huh? How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson! Gregson! Mr. Naruto, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper, see what you can glean. I'm sure you're intending to do so anyway. Yeah, we will do that. Until then, later. Inspector Gregson dead, and Lord Van Zieks arrested. Actually, the idea of okay, so if you guys remember in the first Ace Attorney, in the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the first game, do you guys remember? You know how like Edgeworth in the final case was basically our defendant? Yeah, we have the same thing here. Basic combination of like multiple different story plots together. Reno, Susie, I called you handsome. We'll be waiting a sec. Thanks, sweeties. Shall we, Mrs. Seto? Yes. Let's leave. Alright. Let's go to the prison and talk to Van Zieks to see what's going on. Let's go. There he is, Lord Van Zieks behind bars. And he's having a nice time reading a letter. So it's true, he really was arrested. He's sitting with his back on the wall reading something. I don't think he noticed us yet. Lord Van Zieks? Hi. Fancy meeting you here. Hi. I know you don't want me to be here. Last place on Earth I like to be. With the last person on Earth I like to see. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Forgive me, Lord Van Zieks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with investigations, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? It was something related to the case? Yes. The yard isn't quite so caliber of information as to share case details of the suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh, who might that be? Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrine. Of course, yes, I keep forgetting they went to the same university. But I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? Alright. What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his words, but they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. What happened? What happened? Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks? What happened? How much do you already know? Not much. We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room in Frenzo Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived at the scene and immediately arrested. When we were told there was nobody else in the room, if someone just heard the gunshot. Then you're well informed. And there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But the gunshot? Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside with. As I heard the noise. However, before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened? If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer that. Oh. After all, you're not representing me. He's getting a lawyer though. Nobody's gonna want to represent him. Your defense. Who is going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks? And anyone other than you, I should imagine. And would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, all of the defendants I prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now. Surely not! I assure you, no defense lawyer want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of the killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. What does he mean by that? Professor Herbrine's letter. After the trial, Professor Herbrine was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. His letter informed us to be safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people aboard, you mean? Abroad? Yes, so it seems. Your stupid little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Herbrine is safely back in Germany now? He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. There is a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you've excused me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. Huh? You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. And so I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer. However, I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, not you Nipponese. But please! I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Alright, let's get a move on. The Frenzo Street room. The scene of the crime, a hidden room. This is where Inspector Gregson was killed. Let's go. It really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down Back Street. So this dust-ridden rented a room before it happened then. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson has lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. Of course it's Gregson's. I mean, they care a lot. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps investigators have taken him elsewhere. Oi! What do you think you're doing there? Every one of the drawers gotta be taken right out there and look underneath and on. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack, too. Blimey, ain't you ever got nothing else? Look at the door, the owners are out of town. Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oh. Oh, you've done it at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Jones has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. He was prancing around in air, pointing at stuff and flicking his other scab. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? That was quick. Yeah, he didn't stop saying nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, hold on. You're a lawyer, right? Yes. Why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help the Reaper bloke, are you? Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? The trial will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on in, Noto. Get investigated. I want to know the truth about what really happened in here. Thank you, Gina. Alright, let's check some things out. So, we have his board here. This looks like some sort of notice board or something. And it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Ah, Mr. Tadahara, look! This, you mean, it's an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here. Details of prison inmates? Yes, in fact, they're all sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. I wonder if it's happened in this room. Looks like he was still investigating his own cases. Some newspaper place. Ah, and this one here! Well, yes, the advertisement, you mean. To the Redhead League. But why? What's it doing here? Still investigating that, too. For a copy of his room, really interested for some reason. And his picture. Oh, his photograph stand. I suppose must be a picture of Inspector Gregson family members? Ah! That's not... What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. They are... Look! Mr. Nuthuddle, quickly! That is not some... I don't feel like this looks familiar. Of course she's familiar. This was morning. Ah! It's Mrs. Vigil. This makes no sense. Why would they picture Mrs. Vigil in here? To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm so sorry to say, I have no idea either. So we're gonna... That's evidence. It's in the chimney. So we have... Okay, let's go ahead and check out the, excuse me. If you're looking down at the grave beyond, Inspector, don't worry, we'll look out your things at the yard. I have a trouble with some deep thoughts here. Aww, damn it, that hurts. Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing. So many tears, sir. Oh, no. Right, perhaps that'll really be work. Oh, that oh, no, I'm so sorry. The top of the candles is completely blown off. There's this wax splattered in the wall behind. Look. Suppose the bullet had hit it. Does it likely the bullet hit the candle first past the Inspector's body? Wax is blood to me. I don't think that's blood. Nah, that's not blood. That can't be blood. I don't see any. I mean, something wrong here. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed his board to a broken glass. Haven't they? Couldn't really get the window anymore. Oh, you remember the window based on mysteries really blocked up with bricks? There's at least some light to it. Guess I don't think anything more about it. I'm starting to feel more sorry for Miss Metzman. Where his body was discovered, the wig. Ever since we came here, I take a miles of this thing. Oh, funny enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is a bright red hairpiece. And I suppose that's the fact that it's right there his body was found. I mean, except that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And such flame colored red, too. Yes, the color has come across very recently anywhere else. Exactly. This is vital clue, I'm sure of it. So I'm gonna keep this in mind. And then this is where his body was found. And there's the blood on the floor. I suppose this is where the victim... That's right, the rope is laid around the showed exactly where it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. You're probably under Dr. Slythe's scalpel by now if that happened last week. From the last shape of your rope, it would appear that the Inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Nuthuddle? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image. That's all. Especially with the blood stain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can even be worse than reality. Such a sense so strong that she's taking it better than I am. And then we have this on the floor. Oh, what's this? It's like a toy. It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it, by the way? Seeing as it's Lord here, do you think it belongs to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zieg's playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall, so if it falls in his pocket, I suppose. I think it records evidence just in case. Yes, I agree. It's rather delightful after all the way. We have a lot of evidence here, so we're gonna have a fuck ton of evidence by the end of this case. I'm not even gonna lie, we're gonna have a fuck ton of evidence. Really? It's presumably the murder weapon, then. Oh, Maya is real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little of them. Just know that for sure Mr. Nadahodo. Fire a shot! No! If I did that, I'd be looking at a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just as someone you might know, I think. A revolver. So then... the chimney. So if the fire replaces the cold air at night, things like dust look. Think it's fair to assume it was right on time. So in other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy. Of course, nobody lived here, merely visited occasional relatives. It would say more likely. I think that's more likely. No, that's right. What about you? Excuse me. Oh, Inspector. Poor man. Getting buzzed way about the fuck, getting so upset. Aw, god damn it. Alright, so let me check the little policeman figure. So this is the little policeman. Notice his hat. It's a helmet trained police officer would wear. Convinced is the charming part, but yes, you're right. His head is heavily manhandled, almost as if you're twisting it for fun. Shall we try twisting it around too for fun? Oh, what's that? It appears to be some sort of key, but it's tiny enough this key door not size, so it's so yeah, so it looks like this is gonna be for like winding a clock, the looks of it, so that's gonna be his floor. So keep that in mind. And a red hairpiece. The candelabra, you see how it's shot off. The frame photograph. And then we have the notice of dismissal. 25th of June, Chief Warden Daily Vigil was relieved of his post of immediate effort to violate Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. All rights to pay all their financial benefits were revoked. Aiding of dismissal, aiding and abetting the escape of the prison convict just prior to execution. These also escape are being investigated. Full cooperation requires to be expected. Prisoner Governor Barry. Additional notes, indications, or just jailbreak plot was conceived prior to convict's incarceration. He believed the convict engaged in some form of negotiation and prison staff to secure assistance. Full disclosure information regarding these negotiations will be demanded. Inspector Gregson. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what? Half a year since I got out of the clink. That's when I decided to give up diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Schultz twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take him as apprentice in any. Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss there then. But it turns out, he's a bit of a legend in the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that. He did. Yep, and ever since then, he started going out all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else in the yard even knows what half of the cases he's working on are, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was this legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know I'd have had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, but look where I landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. I take my hat off to that fella with his words. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why they inspected the bloke. I didn't really realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such a high regard. He said something else to me and all, that I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, because they only goes after the people who are bad. It kind of set my mind as you said that. Right. I'm so sorry, Gina, dude. It hurts. What's this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's been rented out with some golf called Hugh Bone. Hugh Bone. Sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, that isn't it? Yeah, kind of like a fake name. Yeah, it's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. What do you call it, John Doe? Okay, never mind. I see. Well, judging from appearances, we have to say this place has been lived on for a very long time, I would say. Right? All the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Seto. Well, it could be the Hugh Bone. Is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible there is in fact some kind of secret office of his. I never even considered that. Nice work, Sus. We're actually following a line of inquiry like it says. You are? If you look around the room, you see there are a few things that hint at that. We should really investigate this place in detail. We already did. The incident. I see that's where the poor inspector was found over there. Aww. Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what they did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and stuck the candle tree in the wall. Oh yes, it's blown the candles apart completely. Only one candle though, the rest is completely melted. And the gun used on the floor is the Reaper's in it, no denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy! I don't know what they with myself instead with those big white eyes. Only saying what I've heard. I don't know much about guns myself. But there's some bigwig lawman whatsoever said it. Why don't you ask him? A bigwig lawman, is it? I think I know who that might be. Anyway, friends are 3 runs along under the window there. There's some 3 sellers just outside who's heard the gunshot. Oh, but I don't really recall seeing anybody outside. Mighty, shut the fuck up. Yeah, they've been on taking down the yard for question, that's why. But they're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here after all. Maybe getting a grid. Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. The lads of the yard will just want to know what you're snooping around for to be a grid, no? So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Well. Photograph from Mr. Vigil. The revolver. So we have this little handle down here. I don't know what this handle's for though. What's it? His murder weapon? Oh my. It's real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, very little about them. Perhaps something more familiar with fire. The firearms could shed a light on things here. Maybe someone would. So we already examined everything in this room. We already talked to Gina. Let's get out of here. There's not much here we can do. Let's go talk to Strongheart, the only other person that she basically described as. Let's go. You've made good time. I took an express train back to London. What? I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds like he's talking to someone. Oh! Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. It's... Kazuma-sama! Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is. No doubt you've heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't leave a course that Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zieks could have done such things, Inspector Gregson. I believe it only in the facts. And the facts in the case point to one thing. The unavoidable accused of Lord Van Zieks for this crime must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of a legendary detective. Oh no, surely not! It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow the forensic science of I can't say it! Battle begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system swift and equitable process. So does that mean the trial is tomorrow? Precisely. Ugh. In fact, it's an opportunity for introductions. Hi, Kazuma. Kazuma. But of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? So Mr. Asogi here will be presented at tomorrow's proceedings. Leading the prosecution. Wait. What?! Kazuma! As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Yeah, he used to be a defense attorney. Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? Tomorrow's trial. I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be followed closely all over London. In fact, now, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in the trial prosecuted by the Reaper Debalion now. The Reaper himself must stand at the dock. Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how to escape convictions quickly died in mysterious deaths. But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there has been further investigations that have been proven to be innocent. That's certainly true, or as it's been, at least until now. Now, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Prosecutor Asogi. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow. That's right. But he's the defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart. Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it would mean for the prosecution to know there's tragedies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? It's gonna be a final battle. Absolutely! I've no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. That's for sure. He'll be a good one. But why Kazuma-sama? There's surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. No, it's to sign the trial. You asked for this? But why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Yes. Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers for representation. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented, quite exceptional, in fact. You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. Great. After all, the accusers want to bring for this greatest prosecutors the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive the judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution. Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law design for many months. Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't gonna end well, my friend. The killer's gun. Yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zieks? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I would ask somebody higher up from right now. That's right, Mr. Naruhodo, be direct. It's certainly a model that's issued all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes, which includes prosecutors, and I'm sure you can imagine. Why are prosecutors need a gun? I thought that was an American thing. In that case, it could actually belong to the victim. No, Gregson had his gun in his person. What about Lord Van Zieks? He claims he's currently not in his possession. What? He's currently in his possession. According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. What? But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant is no proof that it's actually his! No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zieks. Whew. Well, this is very, very crazy, isn't it? Oh boy. Let's go talk to Kazuma. Hi. Hi. I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be alright. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything. Please, for the love of God. I'm sorry, but I just can't. Including what was coming here today. Right. Kazuma-sama. Oh my god. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. What? It was that voice that guided me here to London. Ooh, exactly. What was that voice from? I'm so sorry what's happened. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return in the way that it was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. That's true. It doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much for Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in Vampire's history. Oh, it will, boy! Oh, it will! That trial will go down in history. I'll agree with that. Trust me, it will. I know it. There's much more you can learn from the public gallery. Sorry if I've taken up so much of your time. We'll see yourselves out.
Hold it!
Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? I just wanted to thank you. Kazuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over to the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection. You always were intent on studying British law in order to change your judicial system. It was your dream, so I didn't want to die with you. Yes, but I had another purpose in coming here. Oh. I actually have a favor to ask. Which is? The trial will be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel. Why? What's this all about? I know you have what it takes. But Lord Van Zieks would never put his faith in my hands. On the contrary, he recognized your talents. He does. It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. Oh, that's Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gregson and his brother, Clint. And a photograph that must have been taken some time ago, but it looks at it. And who's the third person? That's Clint. That's his brother. It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Gregson's office, you mean? Huh, I wonder why. Yes, what I'm trying to say is if you really think you can trust a Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it. Thank you. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours in the prison are almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma? Well, let's go. Alright, back to prison. Here we go. Lord Van Zieks is still reading the letter. We've been gone for quite some time, though. He's either an incredibly slow reader or is an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. I was intending to ignore you entirely. I do the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm the same as Van Zieks in that regard. Whenever someone tries to like talk to me and I'm like reading a book, I just go like, even though I already finished reading it, I just go like, I'm just gonna ignore you. And they're like, wait, you're so nah, I don't want to talk to you. I'm the same way though. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such insulting Japanese. Oh, sorry, I didn't think you hear that. I had a case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading in the past time. Oh. Yes, we heard the trial set for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So, you have found a lawyer? How many times am I to repeat the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart and the prosecutor of your trial has been decided. I expected nothing less. Though I have no idea who it is. Oh, it's gonna be Kazuma Sogi. Sogi! That made the color drain from his face even more than usually is. Alright. Well then. It seems I'm going to have engaged in conversation with you again after all. Lord Van Zieks, we came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It was almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense! No, we've heard someone attested very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past, I think. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, and inside the true nature of this man known to all as Stone Cold Reaper the Bailey. So, here's what happens when you show him the Red-Headed League article. It's not for me. Ah, that's not why I'm showing you. I suppose. It was a black-headed league with no hesitation. None whatsoever. Sadly, my own hair no more described as black as it could red. It's not black, it's more like grayish, purplish, more like a grayish color. What colored league should I then join? He doesn't know his hair color. People are troubled by the most unexpected problems at times. It's like black hair, or for me it's like silver. It's definitely not black. It's definitely not black hair, I mean. So that's what happens when you show him So now, new conversations. Asogi. 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi. Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father. So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is crucifying me in some kangaroo court. I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. That's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset. That's what I was thinking, actually. I was thinking that, too. I was thinking that at some point, like, maybe he knew, maybe he had a feeling, like, he looked into his eyes and was like, damn, this is that kid's son. I don't know. Maybe he just had a feeling. I don't know. Maybe he just knew from the outset, from the very beginning, somehow. But the could have been hoping to achieve. Well, let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign his trial to somebody like that? Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese. Right, your hatred of all of us Japanese. The Nipponese bane. I'd only just been appointed as prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunted down by a mass murderer, the so-called professor. Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard, and I was Genshin Asogi. Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of that man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Asogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I begrudgingly the ascribed prosecutor when he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the professor case inquiry, Lord Mal Strongheart. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since the time, he's the one person whom I felt indebted. I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? Ah! And of all things, as a lawyer. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it. And I can understand why. Now I know the history. But in the same way that I have long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Asogi, I am the bane of his. The reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. Inspector Gregson. Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged this coming month, but he'll never make it to the France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about it, didn't he? He did, actually. I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean. It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh! The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. That's what I was gonna say, is that language barrier. It's really weird. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson could have worked to put an arrangement in place. Yeah, it's really weird, actually, now that I think about it. It's really odd. Sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. Yeah, it's really weird, actually. Unless you know France. Unless he knows French, then yeah, it makes sense, but he doesn't, from we know at least. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago. This... Oh, Gregson's theme. Now when I... Okay, so now in this case, when I hear it, I'm just gonna cry a little. I'm just gonna cry a little inside. God damn. Rip Gregson. Rip, just... Ah, my mic. I just... God. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself by uncovering the decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would have never been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago! Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. Yeah, desecration. And my brother was, of course, a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in the investigations made him determined was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had a great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it is even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. Inspector Gregson. Your gun. What about your gun? About the gun used to shoot the inspector was found at the scene. Ah, yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion says that it has to be. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as it is, that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That, I don't know. Oh! I was issued the revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. Goodness. Honestly, me too, I forgot it too. You have something in common with Lord Van Zeeks, after all, Mr. Nuttahuddle. A talent for misplacing things. I have some talent for that too. But I at least have a feeling where it is. I also do that too, I'm not even gonna lie, I do it sometimes. No, this has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating with this Nipponese. Oh dear, the rift is very wide, isn't it? Yeah, so it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. I have to wonder about that gun. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, that's the first time he's actually used my actual name. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zeeks! From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese who has an absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi. The man who idolized and the man who betrayed his trust is in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Back then, I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I looked to the future with hope. Since then, I protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo. Then my life is in your hands. For Lord Van Zeeks. That must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask, which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma. Woo! Well, this is gonna be one hell of a case. So, it's only the beginning. So, yeah, it's mostly gonna be a big ass trial. Again, multiple part trials. But overall, this is gonna be the end of the episode. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please comment, subscribe, whatever. Next time, we're going to go ahead and start the first part of the trial. So yeah, see you guys then. Bye.